Hey, I'm Chris. Thank you for joining us on the Southwest Florida Business Podcast. I'm joined today by Malike from Curate Entertainment. I'm excited to share this one with you because I learned a ton about what it takes to not only run a business and create the kind of vibe that he's created with his business, but also some of the things you need to look at as you go to scale and really avoiding the pitfall of trying to be the one that does everything in your business forever. At a certain point at the beginning, yeah, it makes sense, but you kind of hit this piece where it's growing and expanding, and you do need to make it bigger than yourself. And then we talk about what that entails and the way that that changes your philosophy and mindset around taking care of your business and taking care of your people. So I learned a ton from this. I hope you do too. So without further ado, please enjoy this episode with Malike from Curate Entertainment. This episode is brought to you by Southwest Florida Podcast. If you're a business in Southwest Florida and you want to use a podcast to grow your business, scan the QR code on your screen or visit the link in the show notes at www.swflpodcast.com. Enjoy the show. Well, thanks for joining me, man. I appreciate it.
Hey, glad to be here.
Yeah, I'm glad we can finally do this and set this up. I've been seeing your stuff online for a while now, and I think you might have been one of the first people I followed when I started this new thing up.
Hey,
and
man.
I've just been watching you kill it. There's all these wedding videos, and they're done in a pretty unique way. So I definitely want to ask you all about that. But
Absolutely, man.
tell me about Curate. What is Curate? And then let's dig into the story.
Man, Curate. Well, one, I'll start out with, I feel like I caught you in early phase of what you've been doing. You might probably still consider you an early phase, but
Yeah, definitely.
I saw you pop up, and I'm like, man, this guy's doing it right. You get a beautiful podcast, a great conversation. It's a lot of value and gems to pull out of it. So thanks for having me on, man. It's a pleasure and honor. Thanks for the coffee. Definitely needed today. But Curate, man, Curate's been like a lifelong, man, concept that has evolved into different things. And right now it's in a place where we are creating beautiful, memorable, high energy, unique experiences for couples all around the world at this point. So, but how did it start? It started off with me being a crazy, hyper energetic young kid from Brooklyn. That's how it started. It started from me just having this large amounts of energy that was maybe misguided early on in my life.
Sure.
So, pretty much the New York school system pretty much counted me out a little bit. So
Yeah.
early on, they were kind of like, hey, this guy, I don't know.
We don't know what to do with him.
We don't do with him. He's getting
Yeah.
a lot of trouble.
Yeah.
So you been in New York?
I'm from Long Island originally.
When you move over here?
12 years ago now?
Dang. Okay. So it's at least back then too. In the '90s. Whoa. Ooh. Sheesh. In the '90s, man, I was just causing havoc. A lot of energy, not really knowing where to put it. And then my mom was like, "No, we're coming down to Florida." So moved me and my older brother down here, and we've just been like, from that point on. I remember my 5th grade teacher, Miss Tubb. I met her first day of school, and she saw me, and she was just like, it's all my energy. She's like, young man, she just believed it. I don't know what it was. She was just like so excited that I was in her class and just encouraged me. And I think from there, it was like a little switch of like, oh, okay, like all this energy isn't bad. It just needs to be.
You got to do something.
Yeah, I got to do something with it. So, sports, talent show, all that just school stuff, like extracurricular. I did everything. I played every sport. I got most athletic in middle school. I won in high school. I won most spirited. Like that, and that's who I am still.
Yeah.
The spirited kid that wants to hype you up and hype everyone up and making everyone stand up at the pep rally and let's go and, powder puff and just everything. Like I was, making sure that there was a life wherever I went, and that there was just always people having a good time. I was the type of person that walked into a room and tried to light it up with whether it's my energy or dancing or music. And so my senior year, my mom actually, she was like a saint, man. My mom's passed away now, but she what she would do is, man, she would take her paycheck and split it in half. She would pay like half our bills, and the other half she would go and buy like pizza for this low-income neighborhood in North Fort Myers. She would just buy pizza and soda and rent out the Boys and Girls Club on Friday nights and just have a teen night for the kids just so they could have a place to go. And so she was really into her faith, loved people, loved serving, loving, people. And yeah, man. So one day she was like, hey, she called me Malike. Malike, can you DJ for these kids? I was like, all right. So I brought my laptop, DJ'd. And then she's like, oh, I'll buy you, what's the thing? I'll buy you the, So she bought me that. And then, so I DJ'd for that event. And then I started doing like parties on the side. Like, I got this equipment. I'm going to, you want to have a party. You want to come? And people were like, so started doing parties here and there. And then what happened was I had a friend whose DJ backed out of his wedding last minute. And he was like, hey, man, I know you've been DJing. Can you do our wedding? I'm like, yeah, sure, cool. And I loved every part of it, bro. It was just like I kind of naturally just took over. And, I learned a lot that day. But everyone had a good time. I was dancing. And then at the end of it, dude hands me like $800. And I was 18.
Yeah.
$800 in 2009 was like $3,000, right?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So,
I didn't know this much money existed.
I was like, what is this? Why'd you give me all this? He's like, that was half of what we were gonna pay our DJ. And then, obviously, this okay.
Yeah,
okay.
It's just
Boom.
the spark. Yeah.
And so that birthed kind of like my just career as a DJ. I didn't do clubs anymore. Like I barely did parties. I did parties, but I was like focused on weddings. I was focused on creating these once in a lifetime moments. That pressure, a lot of my DJ friends kind of buckled under. But I loved it. Like we got one time to do this thing. Let's go. I don't know why it's like a sick thing in me to like it, but I loved it, man. I loved every moment of it. I loved the once in a lifetime. This is gonna be the best day of their life. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be a part of that.
Yeah.
So that kind of started my whole DJ career.
Okay.
But again, long story short, Curate came about because the name Curate came about because I started kind of a little bit of what you're doing. I wanted to highlight the dope things happening in this area of Florida. And so I started a podcast called Curate Southwest Florida. And then we sort of like me and my boy Jay, shout out to Jay, we started, or Jose Carreras, he has a real estate. He's one of the best real estate, probably the best real estate agent in all of Florida. Okay. But we were
putting it out there.
Yeah.
Right now.
We would interview people. We were just going at it, just trying to highlight the best of what Southwest Florida has to offer.
Sure.
In the middle of that, still DJing, still rocking weddings. I was a teacher for a little bit. I worked at a church as a youth pastor for a little bit. I had my little rap career. I made the song Dunk City that blew up. And
wait, that was you?
That was me, baby. I didn't know.
I didn't know. Dude, and I was at FGCU when Dunk City was
2013.
going on.
I graduated 13.
Yeah, it was crazy. One day, the campus was quiet, and the next day there was like 400,000 people on there.
You're welcome.
So
no, so I made the
awesome,
video.
Man.
So I coined the term Dunk City, made a video, it went viral. Didn't get paid for it, but it's all good, man. It's all right. We'll figure it out.
I'm not bitter.
I'm not bitter. So I've done a lot. I've done some stuff in marketing. I've done some stuff in just video creation, graphic design. I've just
dabbling
in anything I can create, man. It's always been my thing. So yeah, and so I sort of like 2016, 17, I kind of like phased out of that. I mean, I made a long story short just now, but I kind of phased out of the Curate Southwest Florida and really saw, man, opportunity and passion and love for weddings, for the wedding industry, for our couples getting married, and I just doubled down. So I was doing a lot in my life. I was doing a lot creatively. I was doing a lot entrepreneurially. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Entrepreneurially.
If it's not, it is.
It is now. And I just decided in 2000, with the help of some really good friends and mentors, Shout out Jason Teeters and Jonathan Romine. I was able to, they're with what is now the Collaboratory. They did a cohort in 2018 and just helped in, wherever you were at in your business, they were able to kind of like pinpoint what the next step was. And so, for me, it was like I was stuck at this point of like, man, I'm not making money off these podcasts. I'm not making money off of this local media company or whatever. I don't know how to do it, but I was killing it with weddings, just in my minimal effort in weddings. I was killing it.
So you were trying, like, you had this successful thing going on,
yes,
and then, but it was almost not like a side thing, but it wasn't where you were putting all your main focus, and you're trying to grow this thing that's not working, but this is like
thing
a
is
golden
working.
thing.
This thing is
right
working,
here.
and
Okay.
I started dating who's now my wife at the time, and so it just made me put things in perspective. I wanted to marry her, I wanted to have kids, right? So like, I was like, man, I can't keep doing this expensive hobbies, in the name of like the culture, in the name of the city. Like, I need to take care of myself. I need to build something, that I'm passionate about and that's profitable and that helps people. And you can find those three things. You can find something that makes you money, something that helps the world, and that you love. But there's no other sweet spot. You know what I'm saying? Like that is the golden spot to be in. And so here I was, just like it was like an aha moment. Like, why don't you just put all your eggs in this basket for once? Because I've always been like off the wall,
trying to do everything.
So for the first time in my life, bro, I've freaking pinpointed, and I no more podcast. Just what does it look like to kill it in the wedding world and be a like full-time wedding DJ and hire other DJs to provide the same experience that I can create for people. Because that was a big thing. Like, I'm only one person. It's 52 weekends in a year. Like, I can't, to be human, I can't do all these. So, man, I get 10 calls, 9 of those I'm booked for. So what do? There's some money on the table, there's opportunity, and I just genuinely wanted these couples. They're like, I don't know who else to talk to. And I'm like, man, what if I can just, so then I started talking to my friends, I started recruiting, started training, and just finding people who can provide the same similar experience and vibe, man. And it just blew up, bro. I mean, we launched in 2019. Can you guess what happened after that?
No, it wasn't like a huge global pandemic.
Yeah, we did a big, giant, grand opening. It was my 10-year anniversary of DJ Malike. It was like, hey guys, I've been doing this 10 years. And then we did, at the same time, our grand opening of Curate Entertainment. So it was a cool little transition to like, hey guys, I've been doing this, but now it's time to really blow up. And we did it at the Heitman House in September of 2019. We're ready to go. We do like one season, October, November, December. I get married in February, and then the world locks down. So we locked down and took a little bit of like a sit down. But then in August, good old the Santa Claus opened it up, opened up, and then we was lit, bro. Yeah. It's been up since then, man. And we've scaled, we've quadrupled sales, we've quadrupled gigs, we've scaled in every way in the last 3 years, and it's been beautiful. We've been able to help so many couples. We've been able to just provide a really good experience for people and leave them with a good taste in their mouth and leave them with a good memory and make people party. That's it. Like that's creating I'd say our goal is that if we can take you from like an elegant dinner party, classy, just think of like the swankiest, freshest experience through dinner and everything, and then taking you to like Coachella,
right next
music
door,
festival vibes, high energy, your grandma's happy and your best friends from college are happy. Like that's what I'm saying. That's the type of vibe, because I've always felt like right now, are you married?
Yeah.
Okay. When you were looking for your wedding, did you hire a DJ for your wedding?
Yeah, my wife took care of most of that.
Okay. So we were to call right now, during her process of looking for a DJ, she probably felt that tension of like, okay, like I've been to clubs before and parties, and I like those DJs, but like they're not that professional. Like I don't know if they could really like do a wedding, because like my grandma and stuff's gonna be there, and like are they gonna be drinking, and are they gonna be like cursing on the mic, and like I don't know. So but like, all right, so then you find a wedding DJ, and then it's kind of cheesy. Like the wedding DJs are a little bit stuffy and uptight, and I don't know. And so for us, we put those two worlds together. We're gonna give you the club feel, but we're gonna bring you the classiness. So class meets hype, and that's who Curate is. That's who I am.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna dress up, but when it's time to we're gonna go up. So this is bringing the best of both worlds, bringing balance to that. So long story short.
Yeah, but no, it's important because I think some of these things, like what I'm finding too, is that you got to find something that differentiates you, because you can just fall into this commodity zone, right? Like you can just become like, oh, well, I talked to Malike, he's just another wedding DJ type thing. So like, how did you realize that was kind of the direction that you wanted to go?
Yeah, hindsight's 20/20, so I could always, people love to
pretend like they
people
knew
love to like feel
going.
like pretend like they crafted this from the beginning. They sat in the room and said, a lot of greatness is actualized when you're in the process.
Yeah, you just got to keep going and moving, and things just kind of unfolds to you.
Yeah,
right?
and then if you're paying attention, if you're looking at data, if you're listening to clients, if you're listening to what they're saying, like let's listen to your clients, listen to your ideal client, listen to the people that have worked with you and hired you before. What are they saying about you? What are they saying about why they've hired you? You keep hearing the same things over and over. And they're the ones that you don't tell people what your brand is. They tell you what your brand is. Yeah, whatever branding you put out there in your videos and content, cool. But what they see and what they interpret is what your brand is. I don't care if you say you're luxury. If you put what you put out is not luxury, you're not luxury. I don't care if you say you're fun. If what you put out and what you do is not fun, you're not fun. If that's the perception is everything about branding.
Yeah.
And the messaging. So for me, I think I got to a point where I realized what my differentiators were. I didn't know. I mean, I led with them because I was led with who I am. So the beauty of like authentic branding is that you don't have to act. It's just you. If you create a brand or something that's not you, you kind of have to keep that facade up. You know what I'm saying? So,
dude, yeah, and you have to, and it makes the work way harder, and it grinds you out way faster.
You burn out. If you didn't love this podcast thing, if you didn't love listening to business owners talk about, bro, week 5, baby, it's over.
Yeah,
like,
eyes glaze over. But
like,
and then people feel that too.
Right.
Like when I like we were talking about before this, like when I come across your stuff on Instagram, because that's pretty much before I talk to you on the phone, like. That's all I had.
Yeah.
That's the only way that I knew you. And it was so much different than anything I saw in this space, where I would look at these things and you're looking at something this big, right?
Yeah.
Like this is as much space as you get to capture who you are.
Sure.
And I'm seeing the video of you DJing. I'm seeing all these people like popping bottles, like fireworks going off at these weddings. And I've never been to one of your weddings.
Come on, bro. What we doing?
Yeah.
Let's go.
Yeah, sneak me in. We're doing some wedding crashers. But like I feel like I know what I could expect there. And that conveys through what you're putting out.
Yeah, we Curate and our company has a lot of strengths. We have really great DJs. We have a heartbeat. We're human. We empathize. So many strengths, but our biggest strength is our branding. Our biggest strength is our storytelling and our branding.
Okay.
Our biggest strength is that we're able to connect with our ideal client and reach their pain point. So what differentiates us? One, like, we're fun, bro. I know it sounds so simple, but everything about what we do is fun. Everything feels fun. Our website, our Instagram, we want to convey and bleed and ooze fun. A sales phone call, like, if I can't be fun on a phone call, I'm not taking it. I'll reschedule because I want you to feel the energy through the phone. I just talked to someone on the way here, and it's like, I just love your energy. I love it. We want a good vibe. People say vibe a lot. What's vibe? What's a vibe? Like, it's your energy. It's, do you care about this? Are you just trying to sell me, or do you love? Can I feel the love of what you? So that's a big part. Unique. We said one of our differentiators is that we're unique. We want to create a unique experience for you. One of the things I found is that, as much as people love like keeping everyone on the dance floor, they don't want to hear line dances all the time. They don't want to hear like cheesy They don't want to hear the same songs that everyone hears. Why? Because they want to feel like they have the wedding that no one else has. And you deserve that. They deserve to know that, like, this is they're not playing the same 50 songs they play at every wedding. And we're going to do something unique. We're going to add an element. We're going to add cold sparks. We're going to add CO2 can. We're going to add something unique. We're going to do the after party there instead of over. We're going to do something crazy, and we're always going to be down for it.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. So our differentiators, we communicate that over and over and over. Everything we ever do. I literally have a checklist in my mind of whatever content I put out. I say, is it fun? Is it unique? And is it high quality? Those are our three big, at least for us, at least what we hear. Those are our big three differentiators. You got the fun, unique, and this is the quality. Those speakers,
it looks good. It has the right feel to it. Like you said, the quality stuff. Like, I'm looking at that, and I used to I played in bands and all that stuff, so I know what good music equipment looks like versus some things that you see when you do go to real weddings, and it's like all the white speakers, the wood background finish. It's
beautiful,
it's
bro. And
it's beautiful.
It's the aesthetics, and then we have our planners that we work with that we want to always impress and shock, and they bring a lot of revenue into our industry and to the other vendors. I love our planners. We serve them as much as we can because a bride or groom will go to a planner and say, "You tell me who to book."
Yeah.
So you got to make sure that you're serving the sort of people that bring you that business as well, and so. Taking care of those relationships, nurturing those relationships is huge. But again, for us, it's always been about, and the word branding can seem like the word sales, where it's like, it's just a mistrust there. Are you curating something that's not true just to sell me on something? And I believe that people do that. With us, it's like, no, I just like to encapsulate what we are and tell a story about it. Anything we post should have a story. It should be entertaining. It should be informative. It should be engaging. So for us, it's always been about engaging them on the front end. You go to our website, we got videos of our guys spinning. Not a lot of people do that. Audio, video of them spinning an actual set. There's nothing to hide. There's no veil. We want you to know, like, this is what we do. This is how we do it. And if you want to rock with us, because we want to reach we don't want to work with anyone that's not our ideal client because we won't be happy. You won't be happy.
Yeah, and if your philosophy really is to show up and go all out for these different things, if somebody's going to be not into it, it's real hard to perform and do all these things. It is very much a performance-based job. It's very much a performance-based thing that they're paying for. And if you got to show up and like really, really fake it, it's tough, man.
Yeah, it is a performance, man. Some people don't see it that way. Some people think I'm playing music and.
Well, because that's what they're used to. That's and probably like what you see as you go through like your journey of the DJ world is like basically DJ Spotify kind of thing.
Yeah, DJ press play. You know what I'm saying? Like, we now again, and one of the way I sell or the way we speak to our clients is there's a sales term for when you're kind of pinning yourself against another,
like a competitor or something.
We don't do competitive sales. Like,
no.
Yeah, I'll tell you other DJs you should book on the phone right away. I'll tell you might want to go with cool. Because if it don't fit, whether it's monetarily, creatively, like I don't want to do. And that's where I've only been at the last couple of years because we haven't always been that way. I would take things just to take them, end up having a client who's not happy because we just didn't fit. So now I don't want you to, people are like, oh, we're doing a little dinner party. We don't necessarily want people to dance. You're not going to get, I'm not your guy. I'm going to be, you're overpaying. You know what I'm saying? You're overpaying for me because people pay for this specific experience. And if you want just like a dinner party, I know some people that can just throw a cool dinner party. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But we
find the right thing for those people.
Yeah. So I think it's important just to really ooze authenticity always, because then you don't have to fake anything. Expectations are set, and you just be yourself.
Yeah.
It's just fun to be myself.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just fun to be myself. So.
Well, do you feel like it's been easier to be more authentic as you've gotten more success, and this has become more of like a machine on its own where you've got money coming in, you have jobs, you have all this stuff? Has that been easier to be more authentic, or has that been a foundational piece the whole time?
It's a good question. It's harder. I think it's harder.
It's harder now?
It's easy. It's easier and harder. Damn, that's a hard one. It's easier in the sense of I have less fear. Less fear about
what are people going to think?
Less imposter syndrome. There's less like self-doubt.
Mm-hmm.
I have the utter confidence that I am the best DJ in the world. For like, I could DJ a wedding better than anybody else I know. That's not coming from an ego place. Maybe it is. Maybe it is. It comes from it comes from like, no, this is the one thing I know I'm really freaking good at.
Yeah,
so
you honed everything
I
in
put
on
the
this
hours
one
in.
thing.
Like,
yeah.
I don't have to pose myself an expert. I feel like I can talk about this all day. I can give you advice. I could give you what works. I can obviously a lot more to learn. So in that sense, it's easier for me to be myself in speaking honestly about what I want and don't want, who we are and who we're not. It's harder in the sense of this is more at stake. You built something big, and now it's like, well, don't say that. Or if this goes, you kind of have to be a little PC in some ways and hold back and, whatever. So there's a lot more relationships to nurture, a lot more, I guess, there's a lot more overhead now. Back in the day, it was just me. And if I screwed up, then it's just me. Affects me, blah, blah, blah. Now, one DJ messes up, that is, that's 13 DJs we got. We get bad review. That's going on our profile. It's Curate. We're all in the Curate. I got my staff that I got to keep paying. They're not DJs. They're just staff. So there's like a lot more maybe at stake that makes me want to be a little bit more like curated and not, Yeah. But yeah, trick question.
So it makes sense because it's almost like it's almost like two layers, right?
Sure.
Like you kind of have this personal sphere that you can influence, and then there's kind of this outer sphere of these other relationships going on, and it's almost like you in the beginning, like I'm kind of somewhere in the lower sphere, getting to that spot where starting to come into my own, starting to feel more comfortable being just pretty honest, pretty myself, all these kinds of things. But it's like something that I got to develop and work on. But this like world up here is just starting to like exist to me, where it's almost like it seems you can become more yourself, totally comfortable with who you are and everything like that. And then everything that you're doing where you feel concerned about it is more, all right, how does this impact like the greater world around me? How does this impact the people that are now with me and that rely on me?
Yeah, you got a lot more at stake at the end of the day when you build things out and when you bring on people and so we have quotas now, I got to pay payroll and right. So
how do you manage all that stuff as you've scaled and you've grown and now you've got this?
Do everything by yourself. Don't ask for no player. That's one way to burn yourself to death, man. No. Yep. I just keep firing myself. I just keep firing myself from jobs. 3 years ago, I was hauling equipment out of my garage all day for my DJs. I was sending emails. I was fixing equipment. I was planning the music, prepping libraries, networking, bridal shows, everything by myself. And then as you scale, the number one question is, right, like when do I hire? When can I afford to hire? I have a very different perspective now than I did then. I like firing myself now. I always think about how can I get out of this job?
Yeah.
Like I've just been firing myself for the last 3 years. So my first hire was an admin, emails, which ultimately she just became everything. She's just like doing everything. And then, I see her burning out and I'm like, ooh, okay.
What do you need help with?
Yeah. You need help with something. Okay, and so it was admin, and then I hired an equipment manager. So then we got a building. We got this huge warehouse space in Cape. And so a big time killer was equipment. Buying equipment, making sure the equipment was ready for our DJs to go out, because they use all of our equipment for quality control. And then we started sending people out with assistants. So then it was like, who's managing the assistants? Who's managing the DJs? Who's corresponding with the planners? So then we have operations. So now the way we're structured is we have operations. Heather does all of our, like, literally she runs our business, bro. She runs it. She's our COO, she's just rocking. And then we have Diego, who does all of our equipment, AV stuff. So he's just, the warehouse is just like organized. And we do like 12 weddings on a Saturday. So we have 12 DJs coming to our warehouse picking up equipment. So you got to imagine they're using all of our equipment.
Wow.
What that looks like. So they got to grab mics, they got to grab. So he's coordinating all that. Our Saturday for us looks like insanity.
Wow. 12 is huge.
Yeah. And counting.
Oh my God. Dude, good for you. And that's an interesting perspective, because when I was doing the music stuff and the band stuff, that is really what kills you. And it's like you have everything at the warehouse, and when you're at that stage, when I was at that stage, you're not keeping track of where everything should be. It's kind of like you get back to the warehouse at 2, 3 in the morning.
These guys
are
like,
done.
Yo, Malik, where's the where's the speaker at for this? I can't find it. And they're in my garage. And then my wife's just like 2 a.m. and she's like, yo, someone's in the garage. And I'm like, no, it's just DJ Flex, And then one of my biggest other time killers was sales.
Yeah.
And the sales calls, bro. My little brother's been here for the summer, and he's been with me all day. A lot of times just hearing these sales calls, 30 minutes, every 30 minutes, 30 minutes, 30 minutes, all day. Hey, how's it going? Just, So now we have
I feel like we should be drinking on this podcast right now, because I'm where you're at. My intern.
I'm doing a version of 75 hard right now, so I'm not drinking alcohol. But boy, we need to drink to that. But
yeah, we'll postpone that drink.
But bro, like, now I have a sales guy, and he does like half my sales, because sales is the hardest thing for me to give away. It's the money maker. It's the first point of contact. It's the lifeblood. So we split calls. He's killing it. So, and then we got 3 people, and now my equipment manager has an assistant, and now we're about to hire. So we're hiring again. That overhead going up, but again, something I could fight. One, so that my people don't burn out too. So it's like you put people in positions, and it's like, okay, well, if you want longevity, let me talk about longevity. Longevity is key. Health, the health of the people is the health of your business, and the health of the CEO is the health of the business. And so, my wife's really good about making sure like I'm taking care of myself, and I'm really good about making sure I take care of my team. We do a lot of like self-awareness and mental health stuff, and we, reading books together as a team. And but longevity, bro, because even with our DJs, talk about my DJs, like, it's a high turnover rate, and there's a lot of wood. I'm not knock on wood. There's a high turnover rate in the multi-operational DJ business. DJs,
what does that mean?
So multi-op is multiple DJs in one company. Single op is one DJ. Multi-op is multiple DJs, and so a lot of turnover. A lot of DJs work with this company and be like, I want to do this myself.
It just becomes like a farm system, basically.
It's just like you're creating technically, and you're always creating your own competition, blah, 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 blah. But I say all that to say is that I've always been critiqued by other DJs around the United States about how much I do for my DJs. We overpay our DJs. We have assistants that go with our DJs. We overpay them. I overpay everyone. I'm a believer that I'll make up for it in the amount of time that you're there. We do like parties for our team, Christmas party. We try to make sure we gain a lot of equity relationally with them, because without DJs, we ain't got a business.
No.
So
and if somebody decides that they don't want to be there anymore on a Saturday morning and they're not answering you, like, bro, that whole thing that you just curated for, no pun intended, for this bride and groom to have this experience for the once in a lifetime. Either it's not happening or suddenly you have to be the one to go take that over if you're even available.
If I'm available.
Yeah.
Lord Jesus. So yeah, man, I just think longevity is key. I think treating people, what's the quote? Train people so well that they can leave and do it on their own, but treat them so well that they don't want to. Like, well, hi, this is great. And all my DJs are all like entrepreneurs in their own self. They all have one's a producer, one's a firefighter, one's, one has their own. He sells Pokemon cards and makes thousands of dollars every month. Rips packs open. Like two of my other DJs are actual DJs in clubs and goes all over to Miami, New York. But they love doing weddings because you get a lot. It's a great experience. You make a lot of money. One wants to start a clothing company, so every one of my DJs, one has a DJ academy, teaching kids how to DJ. I'm telling you, one is a radio DJ. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has their other thing. This is the best side hustle. And I make it so easy for them. All they got to do is pick up equipment, go DJ. We do all timelines for them. We do all the music for them. We set up the consultations, the calls with the clients. It's go. All you got to do is kill it. Be responsible, be on time, be professional, and rage.
Yeah.
Rage. Give them the best time of their life. And that's it. And then so we can make this so good for them that it's like, bro, Malike,
why leave?
Why am I gonna go do all emails and invoices and now we got it.
So all right. So you're one of the only people I've talked to that talks about firing yourself as a good thing.
Yeah.
And it is. And I think a lot of people miss this. My parents have run businesses my whole life, so they always said to me, to people that they knew, like, if you can find a way to make your job irrelevant or eliminate your own job, you'll never not have a job. And it's something that didn't make sense to me for real until I started doing this. So where did you come up with that idea? Like, how did that come to you?
I think I've learned it from the leaders I've been it's something I've heard, delegation, scaling, what you need to scale. But I think I learned the real lesson through trying to do it all yourself. Burning, I'd be on this cycle. Every 3 months I would burn out.
Yeah, where you and because you have a 2.5-year-old, so I bet it looked something like this, where you'd be working all day and then you get home and then your mind's somewhere else and then you're taking care of the baby and then all of a sudden it's 9:30 at night and you're like, man, I feel like I still have not gotten anything done, and I didn't have this quality time that I was looking for. For me, those are the triggers that I say all right, I got to change something here. Let me step back and let me figure this out.
Getting married and having a baby will make you, either will or won't. It'll make you start making changes, realizing where you're spending all your time, and going. I feel like scaling a business is buying back your time.
Yeah.
That's really what it is. All right, I started this business. It's growing. It's killing. I'm making a lot of money, but I have no time. All right, how can I buy back my time with hiring? It's like buying back your freedom. It sucks. Because you're like, all right, I don't have to do this anymore, but I have to pay you to do it. Yeah. So you feel like at times when you're hiring, I could be making, I'm running payroll. We're running all this payroll. I could all be me. No, it can't. You can't be all those DJs. You can't be Heather the way she coordinates and still hang out with your family and still be around your wife, still be around your kid, and still contact your friends. You can make all this money, but do you have no life?
Do you think what stopped you before was it more ego, I can do this all, or was it more could be fear of what if I invest in this and it grows and it's bigger than me?
It was both. No, it was more so the first one. It was more so just a lack of no one can do things as good as me.
Yeah.
It's that belief that you're the best. And as long as you're the best, then you're the best. Go do it. And so a lot of times I'm I would have, the learning curve was giving things away and then either the ball being dropped or and not being dropped. They made the shot. They just didn't make it how I would make it. They did a hook shot. I would have shot it from the 3-point line,
Yeah.
So, but did the shot get made? So I think before delegating, before scaling, before doing any of that, you got to figure out whatever position is, whether it's sales, whether it's operations, whether it's AV, whatever it is. You got to figure out what are your non-negotiables. What does it mean for that person to do that job? One of my favorite books is 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. It's like the Bible to me. And then he talks about like delegation and stewardship. And like before you give something away, one, you have to clearly define what it is you want the person to do and define how. And in that defining, you have to separate what is a preference and what's a non-negotiable. If you're going to work for us, a non-negotiable, you have to have integrity. You have to be nice, right? Like it's a couple things, some core things, and then you have to be professional. Now, if you like to spin and mix like this, okay, cool. You got to wear a suit, but if you like to wear brown shoes instead of black shoes, okay, cool. I wanted at first everyone to be like me. Oh, you got to be Malike. You're just a clone of Malike. Nah, man. You're yourself. Here's what makes my brand, and you got to be those things. You got to be energy. You got to create that unique experience. You got to present yourself as high quality and live and breathe high quality. But you don't got to be me. You don't got to be me. You just got. So then you delegate and you tell them exactly. And that's where I think I struggle with a lot is like really setting clear expectations so that they're set up to win, because you can't hold people accountable to something you haven't clearly defined. So you clearly define those expectations and what are the actual checkpoints of achievement in that job. And then that's when you're able to reinforce, hey, we talked about this. Here's what we have it written down that you're going to, blah, 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 blah. And then you hold them to it. And then you reinforce, and then you get them to the next level. But that's a hard thing because you will. Someone told me this way back. In order to delegate, you have to be willing for things to suck a little bit before they get better.
Yeah. And you have to be.
Yeah, like you got to, bro.
And you have to be willing to maneuver through that piece and like work with that
work
person.
With them.
Yeah.
You cannot give. You can, but that's where your turnovers are gonna happen. You got to figure out like, all right, what does this person need to get to the next level, and can they learn that? Can I teach them that? If not, cool. You gotta find someone else. But the biggest quality for me is teachability.
Okay, so I agree, but why?
Because if you could learn, and I could teach, cool. Like our ideal DJ to even work for us is the DJ who hasn't even been DJing in a long time.
Yeah.
Because if not, you come in with 10 years experience, you ain't learning nothing from me unless you're really humble.
Yeah.
But, chances are you're 30 plus and you've been DJing,
you got your ways.
You listen to some young kid, you're 40 and you're like, so our ideal person is like someone who has the talent, and give me a year with you. I'll bring you up to the level. So teachability is important because they're like a blank canvas, and they can really create a beautiful piece of art that matches your brand, and teachability to me creates this great environment for a person to grow. And it's the best thing, because if you have an issue like pride, like, and I correct you and give you a way to get better, and you have your ego's too inflamed, bro, like what are we gonna do? Like, we're arguing here over something that, it's like, bro. So I think teachability is important because it's the pathway to scaling and the pathway to growing in the company. And so I always look for teachability. I always look. We had our first. Oh man, I'll tell the story. We had our first DJ assistant quit on us.
Okay.
On the spot.
At a wedding?
Yeah. Woo. I loved it. I loved it.
Why?
Because it's a gauntlet, bro. The first day of a wedding with us is a gauntlet. We move fast. We move very, very intensely. and there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
And you got to take orders, and you don't know anything your first day. You don't really know that much. So you're there to help the DJ. So this guy was helping me. I had another assistant with me, and bro, it's just he was having trouble lifting stuff. He was just a lot of ego, a lot of pride. Hey man, you got to wrap that wire differently. Let me show you how. He didn't want to listen, and so I corrected him a couple of times. I asked him to go and break down a photo booth. I said, hey, can you break that photo booth down? And he went the other way to go do something else. And I was like, hey, man, hey, I asked you to break down the photo booth. And there was just so much pride. There was so much pride in this kid's heart, young kid too. And I liked seeing that pride because I was like, ooh, I'm going to test it.
Yeah.
I'm going to test to see if you can be teachable. This is your first day. You're acting like you know everything. So I'm like, hey, man, I told you to go break down that photo booth. And he just like, made a silly excuse that it was too heavy when it really wasn't. I was like, hey man, in order to be a part of the job, you have to be able to lift 50 pounds. So if you're telling me that it's too heavy, then I think we have to reconsider like what we're doing with this. But I knew I was saying that because I knew it wasn't that. I knew he just didn't want to listen to what I wanted to tell him. He wanted to break that down and then go do that, but I wanted him to go do that. So ultimately, he just kind of like cursed in the middle of the air and then left his blazer, left like half his clothes, and just walked into the middle of the street and left the venue. And I looked at my other assistant, who's a veteran assistant, who was kind of helping train him, and we just laughed.
Yeah,
it's like, yo, like
at a certain point, that's
not cut out. That was the first and only time that's ever really happened. I really only fired one person ever. So I think, yeah, man, it was just. This unteachable, prideful ego, bro, and I get it because I'm that way, That's why I'm an entrepreneur. I don't like people telling me what to do either. So so I get it, but
at the same time, but you got to find where you're at in that journey, right? Because like part of being able to do this is having to sometimes have been told what to do at different jobs and follow people and follow leadership from other people. And
follow before you can lead.
See what that actually looks like.
I'm at a place where I'm really meeting a lot of DJs from around the world, and a lot to learn from them, man. A lot to learn. I went to a wedding conference called Engage this summer in New Orleans, and I met a couple guys I look up to in the industry, and I learned a lot from them, bro. And if I walked in there with pride, like I'm hot shit, like.
No,
I would have missed out.
They don't care.
Yeah.
They don't care if you think that. They've already been there, done that.
Yeah.
They're not here to teach you. Like you're there to learn.
You're there to learn. Yeah.
It's almost like I've seen this happen, and I try to do the same thing with podcasting and stuff. Is I meet some of these people, and do you notice that a lot of those guys are like hesitant at first because most of the people they meet want something from them?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
They want something from them without like relationship, and the DJ world is really a breeding ground for ego. I mean, come on, like we all think we're freaking Calvin Harris or something, but we're playing other people's music. We're not even playing our own music. So there's a lot of ego locally. There's a lot of DJs who are probably watching this with seething hatred towards me, and I just want to say hi. But I think there's a lot of animosity and ego in any industry, but in our industry, like with DJs, man, like I wish there was more community, and I have a goal and a hope to create more community. Like I'm kind of venturing into the space of helping DJs with their brands, and I'm really that's what I'm really passionate about. I'm really passionate about helping. There's so many good DJs Let me restart that. There's so many good DJs who DJ weddings around the world, who, if you go to their website, it looks so bad, and respectfully, it's not portraying who they are, the experience that they create.
Yeah.
It's not speaking to their ideal client, and they're not getting the gigs that they want. They're working 3 times a weekend because they're just taking what they can get, instead of like really targeting and speaking to the quality of clients that they want. And so they're overworked, they don't get to spend time with their family, and they're great DJs. So my goal is I'm committing myself to like helping any DJ who's a 10-year ago Malike, 5-year ago Malike, who wants to really portray the accurate picture of who they are to their ideal client, I'm going to start helping them. So I'm venturing out of this very selfless place of like, how can I help now? You know, and I love that I'm finally here, because before the last 10 years of my career, for 12 years of my career, I've been like,
yeah,
no, I'm not showing anybody this. I'm not telling you why I'm so good at this. I'm not telling, no, man, no, how can I help now? You know, because I think that's where I'm at, is like, I'm not trying to hide what makes me great anymore. Like, just tell you, you can't, there's a beautiful day where you realize no one can be you. It's freeing. It's freeing as fuck.
Yeah.
To be
100%,
honest.
100%, dude.
Yo, no one can be Malike. Yo, you can act, you can try. And what's even better is that no one could be you. No one could be DJ whoever. Because you're you, and that's why you have to figure out what makes you you, what differentiates, and lead with that.
Yeah, because everything else, if you don't start there, like I notice, like it's happened to me, but you then start getting into that, like, well, what are they doing? Like, whoa, they did that. Wait, should I be doing that?
If you're watching anyone else for more than 10 minutes, like, as if to compare, you're already behind.
Well, and it's
already behind,
and it's something you got to train yourself, right? Because that thought's still there, even for me, right? You look at stuff and you're like, oh, you know, like, what is this? And then you feel shitty, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I feel this way because I'm looking at what they're doing, and I'm like living somewhere else. I'm not being me.
Bro.
And once you can come back to that, every time I come back to that authentic route, what I'm supposed to be doing, and not worrying about that stuff. You get out of this like competition mindset. You get out of this like scarcity, like, oh, there's only so much that can be done. It's like, no, there's how many thousands of business owners in Southwest Florida that I can interview. There's how many weddings going on. I think weddings will never end.
How many people getting married?
Yeah.
You know, like, bro, that was a realization, is like,
and you can't do
even
all of it.
if every DJ in Southwest Florida did a wedding every weekend, every day of that weekend for the whole year, there would still be more. And that's a realization I have, you know, where I'm like, yo, why am I looking at this other person? Like, what's for them is for them. What's for me is for me. People are drawn to me for a certain reason, and I want to capitalize on it. I want to speak to them. I want to work with them. I don't need to worry about I don't need to worry about anybody else. Now that is, again, hindsight, because I didn't always think like that. Yeah, I had levels of confidence, but I compared myself a lot, and we not only do we compare, but we inaccurately compare. So we compare.
Oh yeah, you make it feels like the other person is 10 years ahead of you when they're right next to you.
Or you take someone who is 10 years ahead of you and compare yourself to them as if, bro, this person's been doing this for 10 years. You've been doing this for 1. Why the heck are you even, you know what I'm saying? And so you shouldn't compare at all, but like we also compare our worst to people's best. So people look at me and go, man, you're just so good at like people and the personality. Yeah, but you don't know the 10 other weaknesses I got. It's like we look at like loving relationships and we go, man, you guys are so like, you don't know what happens at home. You don't know what problems they have. But you take your worst and you go on your Instagram and you go to their highlights and you take your low light reel and you compare it to their highlight reel.
Yeah.
And it's just like, and then you just get more depressed. You get more self-deprecating. And here you are. And that's what creates dissatisfaction. It's like discontentment. It's like, yo, why are you comparing? Why are you mismatching the comparisons anyway? You shouldn't even compare, but why are you doing that? So I'm learning, man, just to be in my own lane. Hey, man, I'm not trying to, I'm just me. I just keep my head down, and do my thing and really take ownership of like just who we are, be authentic as I can,
Hell yeah, dude.
So, yeah, man.
Agreed. Well, I'm glad that we did this, man.
Mm-hmm.
This has been awesome. So
absolutely,
I know that you've got an event coming up. Do you want to talk about that?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So, we launched Curate Entertainment in 2019 in September at the Heitman House. Shout out to Jeremy. And we launched, and 2020 happened. We couldn't do a 1-year anniversary. 2021 happened. We couldn't do a 2-year anniversary. And so here we are, 2022, right? That's the year we're in?
Yeah. You threw me off for a second.
I know, I got
like,
you, right? All right.
Wait, this is 23
And
yet?
so this year, man, I just feel like it's appropriate, man. We've been through so much. We've grown as a company, just so many new relationships we've made with planners and venues and photographers. And so we want to celebrate with our vendor friends, but we also want to celebrate with our couples who are getting married with us. So we're inviting them. We're inviting our past couples come on by. And we're inviting friends and supporters. So anyone who's, now we will cap it, we got a little cap. So but yeah, no, we want everyone to come out. We're going to celebrate. It's going to be at the Luminary Hotel. And we're going to go up. It's going to be like tropical luxury disco. We're going to pretty much rage. We're going to throw like it's going to be like if you're walking into Tulum and like a music festival. We're going to have a lot of surprises, a lot of cool things. And we just want to celebrate, man. We're masters of celebration. Like we just want to celebrate. And so we want to invite everyone out. We want to invite people to come out and party with us and celebrate, what we've done and where we're going. And most importantly, it being in Southwest Florida where it all started for us. And so yeah, man, we would love everyone to come out. Come on down September 29th at the Luminary. September 29th at the Luminary Hotel. It's going to be a good time, man. Hope to see you there.
Yeah. Well, and so I guess as we're wrapping it up, where is this going? Where do you see this going?
Curate's could take over the world, bro. No, we want to go into different markets. We have our sights set on a new region yet to be announced. Me personally, kind of getting into some coaching and helping DJs with their brands, stuff like that. But more DJs, more locations. Thinking about what it looks like to pop this thing in some different places. And yeah, man, just keep. We want to do like big celebrity weddings, and we got a couple in the works right now that some higher profile ones. So we're just just scaling vertically, scaling horizontally,
nice.
Scaling wide and tall, and then perfecting the craft, perfecting the quality of service. We got a long ways to go, but just more, and yeah, we also have a nonprofit too, so I'll plug that too.
Okay.
Nonprofit's called Curate Hope, and we go into public schools all over the United States, L.A., Atlanta, Kansas, everywhere, and we talk to students. We do a huge, engaging assembly on mental health, on anxiety, depression, suicide, and bullying. And we go and spread a message of hope. We tell them, hey, man, no matter what you're going through, just keep breathing. We look these kids in the eye, hundreds of kids. We just tell them, hey, man, keep going. Whatever it is, you got a purpose, And so that's called Curate Hope, and that's with my boy Will Hutch. And we just, man, we love giving back to the community. I'm on the Southwest Florida Community Foundation board, and just seeing as a collab. I don't know if have you heard about the Collaboratory?
Yeah, you were telling me a little bit before we were talking.
So the Collaboratory, we have a goal, a mission, like a NASA space mission, that we want to solve all problems, socioeconomic, food, school, education. We want to solve every single problem within Southwest Florida in 18 years. This is year 2. So we need to come together, mental health, wellness, well-being, think of every sector that makes businesses, entrepreneurship, we're doing impact investment, scholarships. We are on a mission to convene the whole community of Southwest Florida, Collier, Lee, Hendry, everyone come together and let's solve every single issue. And so I'm just trying to do my small part in that. But I want to share that if anyone's interested, please reach out. Collaboratory. But yeah, man, you gotta come by and see.
Yeah, I was gonna say let's talk about this.
Yeah, you gotta
afterwards.
come by because I think what think what you're doing is a part of that.
Sweet.
You have a really important platform here, man. So, absolutely, man.
Sweet. Well, dude, thanks for coming and doing this.
Absolutely, brother.
I appreciate it. And yeah, thank you, everybody.
Yeah, and shout out to my beautiful wife and my beautiful daughter, Isla. I love y'all. The reason why I do it all, they're the reason why I focused in and honed in on everything is to make sure that I just provide the best life I can and create some generational wealth and health for my family. So I love y'all.
Nice.
But thank you, man.
Good.
Appreciate you.
This episode is brought to you by Southwest Florida Podcast. If you're a business in Southwest Florida and you want to use a podcast to grow your business, scan the QR code on your screen or visit the link in the show notes at www.swflpodcast.com.